You can find links to all our shows at arcanemediallc.com. That's RKANEMEDIALLC.com. Now let's get started. And now, recording from beautiful and sexy Miami, with your hosts, Seth and Laz and Research Lucas. It's Because We Said So. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So yeah, this is Because We Said So. We got Seth in mic 1. We got Laz in mic 2. We got me again in mic 3 because Lucas is running late. That's all right.
He's the latest white person I know, bro.
What's that?
He's the latest white person I know.
I know, right?
That's so true.
He actually, he's been working overtime on Mondays, so he'll be popping in the next 5-10 minutes or so. He's home. He's got to let the dog out. And we got Matt back in mic 4. What? Second time around, the
Pleasure
sophomore.
to be back.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back. Second time's always a little bit nicer. First time guest, a little timid, not real sure what to say. But I feel like this time we should be rocking and rolling. So you can get us at our website at arcanemediallc.com. Twitter is at BWSS Podcast. YouTube is Because We Said So. You can email me at Seth at arcanemediallc.com. We record everything on camera at Arcane Studios. And you can watch all of our shows on YouTube or listen wherever. I do code the show. So those of you watching on YouTube, you want to go straight to the parts you want to go to, feel free. Even though the whole show is pretty awesome, you should stick with us. All the music is by The Unsilenced. You can check out our sister show. It is Your Inner Buddha. Nice, relaxing, spiritual. Just a nice little journey over there. And everything, all the shows, all the music, everything is at Arcane Media LLC. I release when we get the editing done. I'm trying to get it out Tuesday night. This one might not be till Wednesday. So I also have my friend Brandon Morris, who is an actor. He's been on several shows, Burn Notice, Gotham, For Life. He's done a lot of stage. Being an actor, because we're talking about the Hollywood strike, I actually have a conversation with him that we're going to put into the show as well. So this one might not get out till Wednesday. But yeah, this is episode 109, Hollywood on strike. We got quick news, WTF news. We got Laz's Corner Positivity. And so Laz, you knew Hollywood was on strike, right?
I actually didn't know, but I know. Well, actually, I read up some stuff, but then I remember this happened a long time ago as well.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not like a long time ago.
Well, the writer's strike happened a while back, but now that
the actors
are getting into it. Yeah, much different situation. Because we're doing SAG and AFTRA, and he was like, who's that? And I was like, Hollywood's on strike. He's like, oh, yeah. So anyway, before though we jump into that, I would just want to we got a quick little update. We got to talk about the cream pie in the room.
I didn't even see that.
You didn't see it? All right. So those of you who watched last week's episode or listened to last week's episode, Adam 22's wife, Lana the Plug, got blacked by Jason Luv. Basically, they do Adam 22, Lana the Plug. They do a lot of porn scenes together with different porn stars, and Lana, wanted to do one by herself, and Adam let it happen, or Adam was okay with it. He had 2 stipulations: no kissing on the mouth and no facials. But he didn't see anything about cream pie.
Else.
I mean, bro, that. So anyway, jumping right over. So this is basically, there's a lot of talk. Adam,
you can't put the cream pie on the show. I'm talking shit.
Well, I mean, it's too late. Oh, God. But still,
no, I mean like the actual video.
Dude, they must have made so much money off that.
And that's the thing. When you have this controversy, just like in a fight, you know what I'm saying? It brings even more attention to it.
Controversy sells, man.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not gonna lie. Me and my girl were just looking at. I made her watch the video that you asked us to watch before the other show.
Yeah, the interview.
Yeah, the interview. And then I looked up some of their videos with her, and I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. I watched them before we recorded the show. They're okay. Whatever.
They're whatever.
What, her videos?
Her videos
and
with
his.
Adam.
The ones they did together.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. He's got a pretty big dick for a white guy. Not mad at it.
But has she only been on camera with him?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. This is her first time without having him. Lucas is in. Here comes Lucas.
Hey.
Lucas is like, I watched everything.
He
And the fast-
made it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got
just making sure.
It's got to zoom you in.
Did
get
you watch
in
your
the right
vagina?
spot. Oh God,
Yeah,
really, bro?
Hold on.
Do you
Did
have
I
your
wash
quiet
my
please?
vagina?
Do you have your quiet please sign?
Usually when girls
God
get off
damn
work
it.
after a long shift, the first thing they do is wash their vagina.
All right. Well, that's great. But so here's the thing, though. So Jason Luv had an interview, and he was talking about how basically he banged her better than Adam does. He's like, it's different because Adam has love, but yeah, he banged her, did it in the cream pie and the this and the that. So Adam got wind of all this, and this is Adam's retort.
Smashing my wife again.
All right, let me back it up. Here we go.
Guess we're doing this today. Hey, Jason Luv, I trusted you to pork my wife. And it seems like that clout is getting to your head because you're talking real spicy and I ain't really feeling it. Number one, the angle of the dangle is more important than the cubic of the pubic. That's number one. Number two, my D game, when I'm serving it, man, it's just like your mom's home cooking because there's a special ingredient. It's called love. You ever heard of it? Number three, don't make me expose you. And you know what I'm talking about. It can get real messy out here. Number four, you don't want problems moving around in these LA streets because I can make that happen. I'm very well connected. And number five, you are officially blacklisted from smashing my wife again. Show some
Damn.
respect.
So yeah, he's apparently not too thrilled with the shit that he was talking.
He threw that to himself, bro. Like, I mean, I don't
But
know,
Jason was talking some shit about he fucked her better than Adam and all this and that. Like, I
I
mean,
feel like this is all part of their master plan to stay relevant.
you're probably right. I'll tell you what, it's not a, I mean, we're still talking about it, aren't we?
100%.
All right. So that being the case, we're going to go ahead and jump into, I just want to touch, kind of a little update that the scene is out. She got cream pied, a lot of shit talk. We'll see if anything else happens. So yeah, we're going to talk about Hollywood on strike. And I actually want to start with where it all began. So the writer's strike happened, and this is from May 2nd, 2023. This is the WGA, which is the Writers Guild of America. They went on strike. And what is the Writers Guild? Let's real quickly. So this is from WGA East, and you have WGA East, Writers Guild of America East, which is headquartered in New York. West is headquartered in LA. But this is essentially what they are. Writers Guild of America is a labor union representing thousands of members who write content for motion pictures, television, news, and online media. The Guild negotiates, administers, and enforces contracts that protect the creative and economic rights of its members, conduct programs, seminars, and events on issues of interest to writers, and presents writers' views to various bodies in the government. It was founded in 1954. There's over 6,000 members and growing. They represent film, TV, broadcast, cable, streaming, news, and online media. So basically the writers out there. If you are in TV, in a movie, radio, anything like that, commercials, generally you're part of this union. The reason why you want to have these protections. So it's very similar to being in the union, like back at the house at the Fontainebleau, for instance. Ronnie B, who's been on the show several times, he got fired from the Fontainebleau 3 fucking times. And every single time the union, got him back in the job. So union's there to protect your job, protect your interest, make sure you get paid fairly, like all that stuff. So Al Jazeera, May 2nd, 2023, Hollywood writers launched major strike over workers' rights. So this is this is where it all started. The writers were like, we are going on strike. We need to be treated more fairly. Thousands of film and television writers in the United States have launched a strike after negotiations for better working conditions with main studios and streamers failed to find an agreement. The WGA union said the strike, which began after the writer's contract expired, which was just a week prior to May 2nd, came after 6 weeks of failed negotiations with Netflix, Amazon, Disney, and Apple, among others. The WGA, quote, the WGA negotiating committee began this process intent on making a fair deal, but the studio's responses have been wholly insufficient given the existential crisis writers are facing, the union, which represents 11,500 screenwriters, said in a statement. The company's behavior has created a gig economy inside the union workforce. So what's been happening is instead of putting these writers on full time and giving them all the protections, a lot of, things that happened a lot in this, economy. People were not giving, a full job, not getting on salary, not getting the 40 hours that you need, yada, yada. You're a gig, so you don't have to get the benefits. You don't have to get the 401k. They don't have to give you any of that stuff. So that's what they were complaining about. So the strike came after Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers, the AMPTP, essentially the employers. So you have the writers that want more money. You have the employers. They represent the employers, the studios, Sony, Disney, Netflix, and all that. So they said the negotiations concluded without an agreement. So long story short, what they want is they want to get fairly paid mostly for the streaming that's going on. Because when you're on TV, when you have your writings on TV and in a movie, and you have a show that keeps like Seinfeld and Friends and all that keeps showing, you get residuals from that. Yeah. But on streaming, there's no contract in place.
Who's making all the money? Only the
studios.
The studios.
Yeah. So people like Disney, people like Amazon, stuff like that. Fair, right?
Yeah. It's not.
They're killing.
It's not fair. Like they should get that. They should get.
It's fair that the writers want to strike.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh,
Absolutely.
okay, I thought you meant it was like no. All right.
Yeah.
Like it's nuts. It's crazy. They had that problem with, I think a big one was like Dave Chappelle wasn't getting anything from.
I remember that.
his
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Was it Netflix that was holding out on Chappelle?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't
made a big
Netflix. It
stink
wasn't
about
on
it.
Netflix.
It was Netflix. Yeah.
It was on Netflix through Comedy Central was getting money from it, I believe, but Comedy Central wasn't paying him.
Okay.
Something like that. Like so, it's like Seth, you have to pay me regardless when we get money.
Of course.
I'm gonna start writing my.
Everybody
contract
gets
now.
a cut, bro.
Yeah. So, anyways, but like that's just it's not fair. Like you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, I mean I know the actors do have a lot of money and it's a different situation, but.
So what's the solution here? Are they going to go and negotiate with the streaming services? They're going
to have to. I mean, the way it's going to. I mean, if we're, Matt, you and I, especially you've been talking about the stuff going on with music, the streaming, and the reason why the artists aren't getting paid that much money is because the money is going to the producers, going to all the labels. Yeah, and the labels aren't paying the artists.
Not at all.
But I also feel like a lot of that industry is taking shortcuts now with AI and everything like that. So like,
oh, for sure,
they're going to try to use that as their negotiation tactic as
you're
well.
Using the face as well.
But honestly, like we've been talking about, Seth, and I don't know, Laz, if how you feel about this. I don't know if it's just because we're getting old and stuff, but as per music, movies, all of that stuff, in my opinion, the best of the best has been the old school movies. Like I watched Scent of a Woman the other day. Like they don't make movies like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like music in general, like Seth and I were talking like 90s R&B and rap and stuff like that, like was so much better. I saw a podcast with Lil Wayne.
They're making that, like you're actually making it. It's different from like where they're just like, okay, you know what? Grab a soundbite from here, grab this, and then just put it together. We'll make the movie. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like you don't feel them. Like
there's actual human talent.
Exactly.
Behind
like
all
when
of these
somebody is like is acting and like grabs someone and that person has that look in their eye or they made you cry. Now they're just putting the tear in the eye. Like, you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I don't know about that. I mean maybe.
What do you mean maybe? What do you mean? Even
now
we had a photo shoot. We had a photo shoot with the first guy. I can't remember his name. Squiddy, yeah. So when we did a photo shoot, I always smoke. So
he put the smoke in.
He put the smoke in. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, how are you gonna do this? He's like, don't worry, just hold it. And then the photos were great, by the way.
Yeah, he was amazing.
And then you just like the smoke was in the air.
No, AI's gotten crazy now.
Yeah. So now imagine and like I don't know what he's doing now, but like imagine somebody who has
he basically produces videos for this like one Latin artist. He's like their main video like producer.
So imagine you have millions of dollars to do whatever you want. Like we could put you here with a big head or like whatever. You know what I mean? Like you don't even have to be here right now, and we'll put you in the room. Like it's crazy.
It's true.
Yeah. Have you seen that Drake song that went viral? That was all AI. It was Drake
and The Weeknd. Yeah. And they took it down, but it was literally it was their voices and AI like created it from scratch. It was pretty amazing.
And by the way, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. But that's the thing. That's one of the other things that the writers want to negotiate about is AI, because here's the thing. A lot of what AI does is they take other people's work and you can mimic. Like I can look for, I want a painting, an oil painting of like your Audi in the style of Rembrandt, and it'll make it. So another thing, they want protection against AI being able to come in and duplicate the work that the writers are doing, which is another sticking point, because they want to have some sort. And when we get into the actors, we can talk about it. The actors don't really care. Like, hey, you want to use my voice, you want to use my likeness, just pay me. But on the writer's side, it's a little bit of a different story, because you have one writer that, I keep saying, friends, but, because the actors, the main characters from Friends, they get $20 million a year in residuals. Wow. But let's say you have this
well-deserved as well.
Of course. But in the streaming realm, I don't know if they're getting a piece of that or not.
Or like the writers. The writers are not getting.
The writers are not. Of course not. But the thing is, if you have a writer that wrote for Friends for like 10 years, you could take all of that writer's scripts, feed it to the AI, and the AI can put out scripts in that writer's style. And that's the type of protections that they want. So some of the sticking points in the negotiations, we already talked about it, for the Writers Guild. A major source of disagreement during talks was the growing trend, this is all Al Jazeera, for the TV shows to hire fewer writers for shorter durations of script series. So in other words, the gig jobs. Instead of just putting you on staff, we're going to bring you in to write real quick and then get the fuck out. As talks collapsed on Monday, the WGA released a document showing it had called for introducing new minimum number of writers and minimum duration of employment for TV shows. The AMPTP, which is the employers, motion picture, television producers, said the WGA demands that studios hire a set number of writers for a specific period of time, whether needed or not. That were some of the primary sticking points. I don't know how I feel about that, because if you're a producer, if you're a production show and you don't need a writer full time, you don't need 5 writers full time, bringing a writer in part time, I feel like, why would you spend all this extra money for no reason? So that one, I'm kind of like, but another issue on the table is reworking the formula that calculates how writers are paid for streaming shows, which often remain on platforms like Netflix for years after they're written. For decades, writers have been paid residuals for each reuse of their material, such as television reruns or DVD sales. With streaming, writers simply get a fixed annual payout, even if their work generates a smash hit like Bridgerton or Stranger Things, streamed by hundreds of millions of viewers around the world. And that's the thing, like, whether your show sucks or it doesn't, you get the same annual amount. But if you're a writer for Stranger Things, you're getting just shafted big time.
But like, is it like they sign a contract where they won't get more money, or is it like
that's the contract. That's the current, because the last contract that was signed was before streaming became such a big thing.
Now streaming's everything.
Yeah, so just like the players union in football. Like every so often they got to re-sign the contract to change things up. But yeah, the new contract, they fairly they want to get like Stranger Things, bro. That show is
everybody's watching that.
That's the most expensive show made, right? Well, didn't you tell me that, Matt? Didn't you look it up?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Tommy, but they spent like the most expensive TV show ever made is Stranger Things. And that show is massive. And those writers probably getting paid well, but they should be getting residuals off of that shit for sure.
For sure.
So that's
Jesus.
Go ahead, Lucas.
$30 million per episode.
What?
Stranger Things.
That's how much. How
much they spend.
That's
wild. How much they spent. $30 million. To make it
per episode.
It's a massive, massive, super expensive television show to make, and it's a freaking great show. So that's the writer side. So that was May 2nd. The writers were like, "We need to get paid better. We need to get taken care of. Screw this. We're going on strike." So fast forward to July 14th. Which was last Friday. Yep. SAG-AFTRA strikes. Mission. So this is SAG-AFTRA is a Screen Actors Guild. AFTRA is the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. So this is a mission statement from SAG-AFTRA.org, just so you can get an idea of what they're about. SAG-AFTRA brings together two great American labor unions, Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. Both were formed in the turmoil of the 1930s, which rich histories of fighting for and securing the strongest protections for media artists. We are actors, announcers, broadcast journalists, dancers, DJs, news writers, news directors, program hosts, puppeteers, recording artists, singers, stunt performers, voiceover artists, and other media professionals. We are the faces and the voices that entertain and inform America and the world. SAG-AFTRA is committed to organizing all work done under our jurisdictions, negotiating the best wages, working conditions, and health and pension benefits, preserving and expanding members' work opportunities, vigorously enforcing our contracts, and protecting members against unauthorized use of their work. So SAG was created in 1933. AFTRA was created in 1937. Then in 1952, when television got merged in, the Television Authority was merged into it. It became AFTRA. And then SAG and AFTRA merged together in 2012. So if you go for a job in this industry, and like you go on backstage, for instance, you can see union, non-union. Union means SAG or AFTRA, which means you're going to get paid a minimum amount, which means that you're going to have certain protections, which means you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid with X amount of days. Non-union, who knows? You might not get paid. If you get paid, you might wait 6 months, or you might never get paid. So that's primarily the difference. So that's what SAG and AFTRA do. But they jumped in. They're like, you know what? We're going to strike too. And now Hollywood is done. There are no TV shows, no movies like being filmed. In fact, Oppenheimer, they were walking the red carpet for the premiere. The strike happened, and they legit left before the movie premiere because they can no longer even be a part of that, which is crazy.
It's crazy. That's wild. That's nuts. And like, I remember last time it happened, like all the shows were backed up. Remember, like
that was the writers,
yeah, like something like it's similar. It's the same thing.
Have the actors ever gone on strike?
Lucas, can you look that up?
Research Lucas.
They're on strike now.
When was the last time when was the last time SAG went on strike? I looked. The last time I saw it was when they did something like back in like a long time ago, like when Ronald Reagan was the president. Believe it or not. Did you find your sign, by the way?
Yeah. No.
We bought Lucas a great like golf quiet please sign.
That was a long time ago.
Oh, actually.
You have it? All right. We want Lucas to use his quiet. There it is.
The only thing that was annoying when the writers did the strike was that when
hold on, quiet please.
Thank God I can't see him, so I don't have to even pay attention to him.
Go ahead, Lucas.
Last time both actors and writers unions went on strike was 1960 when future President Ronald Reagan led SAG.
Yeah. But I know together, but I'm just saying separately, like just SAG. I don't think they've gone on strike for a long, long time. What were you saying, Laz?
What was I don't think Lucas is finished.
No, he's looking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, not even before, like you're waiting for shows to come out and this and that, and then like all the fall shows came out in like January, and all the January shows came out in the summertime
for sure,
and it just blew everything out of whack. I can't remember whatever was coming out at that time.
That was the Writers Guild. I think that was 2007. We're actually going to talk about it.
That was so annoying. Bro.
It was annoying.
Yeah. Now I'm not gonna say I'm gonna care or not, because like I'm so behind on things I want to watch anyways. So I have plenty of things to watch. And probably Netflix and them is gonna say, if you guys don't want to come, we're still gonna make money anyways.
I don't know, bro. You can't make new shows without writers and actors.
Yeah, but these streaming services are just basically streaming things that's already out. So like, how are they gonna pull that?
They're not. No, they're not. But
do you think it's gonna affect like reality TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all staged.
Well, producers, I would think so. That's a good question.
Producers and writers more, because reality TV is supposed to not be
semi-scripted. Yeah,
it's scripted, bro.
It's
no,
scripted.
100%.
That's an interesting question though. Like something like Survivor, but that's the thing. The host of the show wouldn't be able to be on, I would imagine. Exactly. They're probably SAG.
The host has to. Oh, the host. Oh, man.
Yeah, the host. Each reality show has a host.
Like The Bachelor.
Yeah, all of them. So Andrew Dalton, AP, movie and TV stars join picket lines and fight over future of Hollywood. This is July 14th article. Ted Lasso stars Jason Sudeikis, Rosario Dawson, and other top movie and TV actors joined picket lines alongside screenwriters Friday for the first full day of a walkout that has become Hollywood's biggest labor fight in decades. Lord of the Rings star Sean Astin marched with chanting protesters outside Netflix's offices in Hollywood, Also present were Netflix's Titanic and Unforgiven actor Frances Fisher and The Nanny star Fran Drescher, who is president of SAG-AFTRA. You remember The Nanny, the TV show The Nanny? Anyone?
Yeah.
Oh my God, your voice sounds like this.
Oh my God.
So that's her. She's so hot, but when she opened her mouth, bro, woo. So the famous faces of Oscar and Emmy winners will likely be seen with some regularity on picket lines in New York and Los Angeles, according to Star Power. Adding to Star Power to the demonstrations outside studios and corporate offices, many on the picket lines took aim at Disney chief executive Bob Iger, who said Wednesday that the damage the strikes will do to the entertainment economy is a shame. This is hilarious. I think that when Bob Iger talks about what a shame it is, he needs to remember that in 1980, CEOs like him made 30 times what their lowest worker was making. Actor Sean Gunn, who starred in Guardians of the Galaxy, said outside of Netflix. Now Iger makes 400 times what his lowest worker is. And I think that's a shame, Bob. And maybe you should take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, why is that?
That's the same thing. That's the same thing with everything, though. Like every business, like whoever owns 7-Eleven probably makes 1,000 times more than the cashier.
Yeah, but it is getting worse now.
It's even getting worse for real now. Like they're throwing a little bit of money at everyone now. Like they're throwing like a couple of dollars at everyone.
Well, here's the thing: when the pandemic hit, the disparity between the rich and the poor just got so out of hand. The rich got so much richer, and the poor got so much more poor.
It is what it is. It's crazy. Like, you know, like since I'm industry and I make most of my money off guests, and I had a problem with one of the managers or director or something. I'm like, y'all don't pay me. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't make money from you. I make money from the guests. I could give a flying fuck about how you feel about certain things. You feel me? Like, you can have an opinion if you want, but I don't care, you know?
Yeah.
As long as the guest is happy, that's who pays me. Like,
For sure.
fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
pretty much.
Course. The moment they have no guests, you have no job.
Exactly. And then I'm like, they pay you, but you don't decide how much money I make. They decide how much money I make. So if there's no guests, it's like, fuck you. Like, it doesn't, sorry for the fucks.
No, it's all right, man.
But like, it is what it is. But like in industries where it's like you're selling whatever you're selling, or you're making a movie or whatever, like the person making all the money is the person on top and doesn't want to give anybody else any money, and they're living very comfortably. Like this is like, they're gonna hurt, but they're not really gonna hurt from the strike. You know what I mean?
They're
Like
not. They're still gonna be rich.
Yeah, once everything bounces back, it's like when we were waiting for movies to come out, like I don't know, like during 2020 when we couldn't watch anything, or waiting for like the James Bond to come out, or waiting for whatever movie, like
Maverick.
Yeah, or like the Top Gun.
Yeah.
So it's like you're waiting for all these movies to come out, and then once it comes out, they're still making their money. Whoever produces is making more money. But that guy that was just the guy that held Tom Cruise's dick. Yeah,
okay, sure.
Whoever wiped Tom Cruise's ass that day, like,
and the job might not have even been there when they came back. They might have hired somebody else.
That's nuts. That's not
crazy
fair.
that they got to go on strike to get something done.
That's exactly it. They have to, and they're doing it. So Ron Perlman from Sons of Anarchy also played like Hellboy. So there was a movie producer who essentially had said, you know, we'll let these guys strike until they lose their houses. He was pretty pissed off when he saw that. This is what he had to say.
One thing before I get off this. The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial. Some of it is karma. And some of it is just figuring out who the fuck said that. And we know who said that. And where he fucking lives.
Wow.
There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 fucking million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, motherfucker. Be really careful. Because that's the kind of shit that stirs shit up. Peace out.
And that's all. I mean, he's kind of scary.
Dude, dude.
Not like, I mean, if you watch Sons of Anarchy, like, he does dumb shit. Like, as an actor, he's always like doing something crazy. But like, honestly, you can't threaten people's livelihoods, bro. Like,
no, that's
especially when it's thousands and thousands, if not millions.
Like,
there's millions of people out of work right now. Granted, the writers and the actors make up, whatever percentage of the industry. But, the people that hold the cameras, the people that hold Tom Cruise's dick, like all those people, they don't have jobs now, too.
I didn't want to say
it might take 5 or 6 people to hold Tom Cruise's dick. Let's just face it.
He's white. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. Fair enough.
But like, honestly, oh, God. But, I have a calm head. I mean, we've worked together, Seth. Like, you're pretty calm. You're not going to do anything crazy. But there's people that get fired or something happens that they go off.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you know what I mean? Like, that guy that probably was just about to make it or just about to be normal, and then, like, he's not going to get any money for a little bit, he's going to go off. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to be the regular person. Like, to the point, like, I've had jobs where, like, somebody's getting fired, like, they make sure, like, security and HR comes with them to make sure that nothing crazy happens.
Sure.
So, like, imagine, like...
Well, that's what Fontainebleau Blue. You get fired, security's coming right there to walk you out.
Yep. Like, it's crazy. So, it's like...
Or in the bathroom.
What's that?
The first week I was there, they had to fire some guy that got drunk during shift, and he locked himself in the bathroom.
Really?
And they were knocking on the door. Yeah, he was getting... shots of gin from customers.
Wow.
Went into the lunchroom, spread ketchup and mustard on his face, went into the bathroom, and I remember being in there as her going, come on, you got to come out.
Mustard on his face?
What the hell?
He got messed up.
This is a pizza burger?
Yeah, but this was back when it was Michael Mina 74.
I got you, 74.
Yeah, like, people, like, well, he fired himself. But you know what I mean? Certain situations.
On the face, though?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, he was.
Well, anyway, but you don't know what people are capable of. You don't know who you're working with.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Like, I know Seth. I've been to his house. I know how he is. We know each other's lives for the most part. You feel me? But what happens to the guy that we don't know? You know what I mean? Like, that's just like, you don't know what happens when he goes home, and then all of a sudden it's like, we got to just get rid of everything today, baby.
Yeah.
No, we can't. He's gonna go on. He might go on a killing spree. He might do anything. Oh, whatever. You know what? Forget it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like,
I hear you. I hear you. So no talks are planned and no end is in sight for the work stoppage. It is the first time both sides have walked off since 1960 when Ronald Reagan was a SAG leader. Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which represents employers, including Disney, Netflix, Amazon, and others, has lamented the walkout, saying it will hurt thousands of workers in industries and supports that support film and television productions. The strike will affect more than filming. Stars will no longer be allowed to promote their work through red carpet premieres or personal appearances. They cannot campaign for Emmy Awards or take part in auditions or rehearsals.
You know, the only thing I'm happy about, though, is like the big name stars that have the money that don't even need to like really make any more money, that they're still supporting it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because,
especially in this
like,
heat.
So you know how some people like, oh, it's not our problem, I'm good.
Exactly.
You know, but the fact, like, I saw like Matt Damon was like Matt Damon, I'm sure Matt Damon has so much money, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, like, he's supporting it. Like, even the guy from Sons of Anarchy, like, they're going together as a team, which is good.
Yeah.
Even like the highest paid actors to the lowest paid actor.
You got to think about it. They kind of have to, you know?
Yeah, because they're thinking about when they started, probably, you know, like, oh, I remember when I wasn't making anything, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm very happy about that because, you know, a lot of people sometimes they forget where they come from.
But a lot of these major actors won't. So, you know,
I'm happy for the ones that are. Oh,
I agree.
Yeah, like.
But there's plenty of big time actors that aren't going to go out there. So, you know, but yeah, you're absolutely right. The big ones that are going out there, I think it's
salute to them,
it's important. Yeah. And you know what? Those are the type of faces you need to make this, you know, give this the type of clout that is necessary. Because if you have these big time actors making millions of dollars, essentially they're fighting for the lower tiered people more than anything else.
Yeah, basically.
100%.
For sure. So it's, you know, we'll see what happens really quick. So this is Michael Rapaport. You guys know who he is, the actor. So this is his take on it.
All right, the Actors, Screen Actors Guild, AFTRA, and the writers, WGA, are officially on strike. Why are we striking? Money. To quote the great Ilhan Omar, it's all about the Benjamins, baby. We need to get paid. There needs to be a fair share of the breakdown. Successful shows on streaming companies. When you do them, actors, directors, writers, you get paid once. Fantastic show like Strange Things on Netflix. People watch it over and over and over. We, the actors, we, the writers, we get paid once. Uno más. Streamers keep getting paid. As they should, but so should we. We're irreplaceable. A lot of actors and writers have gone on to become producers. I've never heard of a producer who's went on to become a writer or an actor. We can do what they do. They cannot do what we do. And I say this with all due respect. But WGA, SAG, officially on strike. And we got to do what we got to do to get the union back.
All right, Jason P. Frank from Vulture.com. He basically had a long article, but we talked about some of the specific demands, and then we're going to pretty much wrap this up. Can you give me a rundown of the list of demands? The first is basic wage increase. Actors want, this is mainly for the actors, actors want wage increases that reflect the levels of inflation of the last 2 or 3 years. The studios are not offering that. Secondly, SAG wants a success metric for residuals, for streaming residuals. We already know that. Third, SAG and the WGA both actually are concerned with AI, but the issue works somewhat differently. Writers don't want AI to replace them, understandably. The actors are comfortable with replacement. They just want to make sure they're compensated for it. Use my voice, use my likeness, whatever. Fourth, actors, pension and health. The benefit plans are funded by the studios and streamers are funded by the producers, technically. Certain aspects of the mechanism in the case of actors' benefits plans have not changed since 1980. And the last one, this is really interesting on the actor's side. So finally, self-tape auditions. So back in the day, before everything with COVID, you went to a location, you did your audition. There are 20, 30 people there. Everybody auditioned. Thank you very much. We'll call you. But now everybody is sending in tapes. Because everybody's sending in tapes, the people that have a higher production value, the right angle, the right lighting, good editing, have a little bit more of a chance to get the job than somebody who's just recording it on their phone. So there's an entire business model that has sprung up for people charging up to like $7,500 an hour to produce your audition tape. So some people are spending $100, $300 to send in an audition tape, when before everyone used to have a fair shot going in to record at the studio or going in to record wherever you're going to be, doing your audition. So they want some sort of guidelines or mechanism in place. But the thing is, the studios are like, okay, we'll do that, but it's not something we can enforce. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit there. I don't know how you reconcile that. Like me personally, if I ever had to audition, clearly I'll be able to, be able to put a great editing video if I ever had to audition for something.
I thought you was going to say something else.
Such as? Please tell us.
Of course, I would be, no, nothing.
The casting couch.
Yeah, it would be.
Casting
He's already done that and he failed.
True.
I thought you were going to say that, of course, I would make it automatically.
No, but I could put together, a pretty good audition. I could take several takes, edit together, blah, blah, blah. But somebody who's just recording it on their phone, so that's another little stick there. So that's pretty much all I got. Any last minute thoughts on this? Any last minute questions or anything? I think it's pretty straightforward. Long story short, they want to get paid for the streaming more than anything else. You have shows that are getting millions and millions of views on these streaming services, as opposed to people, on TV where people are watching it millions and millions of times. I think it's only fair that they get paid for it, right?
I agree.
So my friend Brandon Morris, once again, I said I had a chat with him. He was on Gotham, For Life, Burn Notice. He's done a lot of stage, stuff like that. Here is my conversation with him. All right. Well, listen, Brandon, I really appreciate you, coming on with me and giving me your little insight to doing this. How did you first hear about the strike? Is this something that, you saw it on TV, or a friend of yours, or did your manager call or something like that? The SAG one, not the writers one.
The SAG one, all that stuff, man. I mean, as soon as the writers one started, people were like, well, the actors contract is up at the end of June.
Yeah, and, July 12th, actually.
No, it was actually July. It was actually June 30th.
Okay.
Was the actual day it was supposed to happen. It got extended to July 12th.
Oh, to see if they could do something.
So as soon as the writer's strike happened, there was already talk about, well, ours is coming up, and if we don't get it, what are you guys thinking? And so there were talks back then. But,
I got you.
Through the SAG website, emails, my manager even warned me of it. And so I kind of heard it on all different fronts.
Gotcha. So that was my next question is like, did you hear that this was going to be happening? Because it makes a lot of sense that, just the fact that the two contracts kind of coincide, around the same time. It just seemed like the perfect opportunity for, I don't want to say the perfect opportunity to strike, talk about a double entendre. But I mean, it just seems like perfect because, a lot of the backlash is just about the whole streaming thing. Before we get into that, does this affect like stage and Broadway at all?
No.
Okay. So Broadway is still good, and stage is still good, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's part of the Actors Equity Union.
I got you. Now, if you or somebody was to be filming like out of the country, as long as it's not like a SAG or an AFTRA or, a WGA type of situation, you can still do that, right? As long as it's not connected. Is that fair to say?
That gets into probably touchy territory.
I got you.
I'm sure you've been working on. Well, I know everything you get working out of the country, out of the States, you have to go through the States first, unless you got some kind of crazy connections where Italy's calling you up like, hey, man, we want you to come do this. But sure. I don't think that's how most things work.
I got you. So, I mean, I know the big thing is the streaming, obviously. Everybody, you get your residuals off of TV and movies and DVD sales, and there's really no residuals on streaming. From what I researched, is that there is some sort of residual for every time every year it's on. But if you're Stranger Things, that's just blowing shit out of the water, and then you're some other crappy show that's not doing well at all, I mean, the residuals that you get are pretty much the same. So you can't really answer this question. I mean, it's obvious that, you feel, and we all feel, that it's only fair that there are some sort of residual things for that. But that's something that would have to go to the studios, and the studios would have to pay the actors, because a lot of it is, they're giving Netflix and Sony a lot of backlash. But I know with Dave Chappelle, he had his show on Netflix, and he was pissed off because he wasn't getting paid, but it wasn't Netflix that wasn't paying. Netflix was paying Comedy Central. Comedy Central wasn't paying him. So, like I said, I know you don't have answers for this. I know a lot of people don't have answers for this, but it seems like it's going to be really difficult to come to some sort of consensus on who should be paying the royalties and how it should be broken down. I just, curious, what your input might be on something like that.
I don't care. Yeah. I don't care who it is. I just know that the difference in money between residuals, between being on a network show and having that go into syndication. I mean, I still get residuals from CSI Miami that I did in 2006.
Burn Notice, you get residuals from that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not as big anymore, but still, you got foreign showings, you have syndication, all that stuff, and that's where the advertisers come in, and that's how they make money from that. The whole thing about the streaming stuff is that we don't know what the numbers are
because they keep it secret. 100%. They don't want Netflix is notorious for not letting people know what the numbers are, and that's because with Disney coming into play, with Amazon, now you have Peacock, you have Paramount Plus. Nobody wants to know what the other people's numbers are because they don't want to release that information. And is that something that can be subpoenaed? Like, how do you work around that?
I have no idea, but I'm sure that's what they're trying to figure out. Because if you're on Stranger Things, or if you're on, I think there was a big story about Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
About that. That was one of the biggest shows they've ever had, and those guys didn't get paid. They didn't get a cut of that. So it's just a fair cut, man.
So they got zero residuals from that?
I don't know. They definitely weren't as good as they should have been.
Sure. Fair enough.
For the amount of money that the show made, the studios, they should have been paid a lot better.
Sure.
And we all should. And it's not like, I was reading this somewhere the other day where people were like, yeah, people all think all actors are like millionaires. And just because I'm doing a scene with Kaylee Cuoco, which I have done, which she is absolutely an A-lister and she makes a ton of money and blah, blah, blah. Just because I'm doing a scene with her doesn't mean I'm making that money.
Sure.
I'm making a basic SAG rate, as an act. So our rates need to be a little better. Like we're not surviving off of it. And especially now with the streaming that's coming in, I knew this years ago when it started happening. I was like, well, wait a second. How do we, but now no one was really worried about it because it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, nobody's really watching that. And that's probably not going to catch on or whatever, but it did.
Then COVID hit and everybody went to streaming. So I know the last writer's strike was about 74 days, something like that. And that was just the WGA. That wasn't, the combo thing. And back then, they primarily wanted like a lot more going on with like healthcare, stuff like this. But now AI is like a big thing. The actors aren't really as worried about AI because, you want to use my likeness, you want to use my voice. In fact, James Earl Jones, I don't know if you know this, he actually signed the rights over to Disney to digitize his voice to use for Darth Vader, like for eternity. It's like, you want to use my voice, like go for it, like no problem. The writers, on the other hand, is a different story. Like, I didn't read this specific.
How much did he get for that?
That's a good question. That'll be another little thing that I'll put at the bottom. Actually, you know what? That's probably not even disclosed because I did look it up. I did read about it. I feel like that's a number that would have been something that I would have seen if it was disclosed. My guess is Disney doesn't want anyone to know how much they paid for something like that.
I'm guessing it's a lot.
At least 10 million, more than 10 million?
At least.
Okay.
But really quick, one of the things they wanted to do with background people, background actors, they wanted to pay them a SAG day rate, which is about $1,100.
Oh, to do a scan, right?
Do a scan to use their likeness in perpetuity for $1,100 or $1,180 or whatever the SAG daily minimum is. Jesus. That's what they wanted to do. So,
and for those of you out there doing the SAG minimum, what he's saying is if you're a background person, if you're whatever, there's a minimum rate that you get for being in the background. You're saying it's around like $1,180, like for the day rate? $1080. All right. I got you. So, dude, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
In perpetuity, just for that show or just across all shows?
Forever.
No, fuck that, bro. Fuck that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I didn't know that. Now that's on the actor side. On the writer side, you could have, like, let's say a certain person wrote for Seinfeld for 10 years and they could take all the scripts that person wrote, for 10 years, put it into AI, and the AI will be able to spit something out that writes in their style. So that's something that they're concerned with as well, as AI gets a lot better. The writers are more concerned about AI, I think, than the actors right now, because on the actor side, you can't really use an actor's likeness or voice without getting caught, I think, in a lot of ways. Like major actors, you're going to find out, but in writing, there's no way you can prove that this writing was copied off of this specific writer or writing style. I mean, it's just really murky waters. I feel like this strike's going to go on for a long time because there's a lot of shit that they have to hash out.
It is, man. And I'm worried about it. Like, I'm as much as the advancements in AI are cool and they can help you do this and that, and they can make you look like a, anime character and shit. That's all great, but it's like computers are coming in to do jobs that computers essentially started happening to do jobs that people didn't necessarily want to do. Whether it was just, a repetitive job or whatever, or an easy job, they could just get a computer to do it and it's easier. So, but like being an artist and being an actor, being a writer, that's something that people want to do. And it's something that we want to express. And now you have a robot coming in and taking over, or a computer coming in and taking over that side of things. And it gets really scary, man. And it's like with all the deep fakes and stuff, like, no, you don't have to get anybody's permission. I watched maybe 5 videos from this one dude that looked like Tom Cruise before. I was like, wait a second.
That's not Tom Cruise. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely got to be some regulations. There's got to be, my friend Yvonne, I think you remember Yvonne.
Yeah, absolutely.
She said, like, everything has to start having like a watermark over it so that that it's AI, or some kind of marker to let people know that you're right. It's very murky. It's very murky, and we have to figure it out before it gets out of hand.
Let me ask you about audition tapes, because this is something that I read as well. One of the things that getting away from AI and getting away from the streaming aspect is that auditions back in the day before COVID, you go to your place, you audition, you lay it down, you go home, we'll call you. But ever since COVID, people are starting to have to send in audition tapes. And because you're sending in audition tapes, there's a whole industry that has popped up for audition tape producers, where you're paying $50, $75, $100 an hour for someone to come in and produce your audition tape. And what a lot of the backlash is now you have these people that have access to better equipment, have access to editing, have access to lighting and this and that can put together, and people that are spending money to put together audition tape, have a better shot of getting the job than someone who doesn't have those means. So you have these starving actors who are spending money that a lot of times they don't have to get a better audition tape to get a job that they probably still aren't going to get. Whereas before, you could just go in and audition and have a fair shot just like everybody else. Like, did you notice a trend in audition tapes more now than before?
Well, just because you have a higher production on your audition tape doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a better audition tape.
Or a better audition.
Right, or a better audition, exactly.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that the actor is necessarily going to be better. You have to be a good actor.
Sure.
And any casting director will tell you that the quality really doesn't matter. As long as they can see you and they can hear you and they can see what's going on, that's all they need. All this other stuff is just kind of fluff. And I do think there are a good percentage of people that are coming in and taking advantage of actors and saying, if you want a really bomb tape, pay me $50 and blah, 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 and we'll do it, blah, blah, blah.
Do you send in tapes? Or did you used to go in and send in tapes? Have you noticed a switch at all?
No, there's absolutely a switch. I used to go into the room, and at the beginning of 2020, the first thing I booked in 2020 was the flight attendant that I ended up doing like 4 episodes of that show with Kaylee Cuoco. But that was an in-person audition. So I went in New York, went to an office, had my stuff memorized, sat down with the casting director. She said, hey, you ready to do it? Boom. They ran the camera. We did the thing a couple times, and that was it. Then they called and said, okay. But I had lived in Atlanta for 3 years where a lot of this stuff was self-tape. So I really learned I learned how to set up a self-tape, the camera, the lights, what you need, the reader, the blah, 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 the editing, where to send it in, how to send it in, because that's how things were down there. So sure. I was kind of already used to it. So once COVID happened and I was like, okay, in self-tapes, I was very used to it, and I still am. But I hate it. Just because I'm used to it doesn't mean that I like it. I still hate it because there's such a disconnect between talking to a person in a little screen and talking to them in real life.
Sure. Do you ever audition live, like on Zoom, like this? Does that ever happen?
I have a couple times.
Okay. At least that's better than sending in a tape, right?
It is, but it's awkward and weird. Like I've had producer sessions for like major TV shows over Zoom.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember doing this one time. I'm not going to say the show, but I remember
no, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I was on the Zoom and they were auditioning me and I was like reading and it was like a 8-page fucking scene. But they didn't like make the other people go away. I didn't. So I could still see all the other people.
And all the reactions and like picking their nose and
the so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And I remember one time I'm like reading out of the corner of my eye, I see this person just like, like drinking a thing and like having, you know, papers and doing it. And I was like, oh shit, I shouldn't be seeing this stuff like that. It was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
So that still needs a long way to go. But, you know, casting directors are loving it because they can get tapes from all over the place and they don't have to go into the blah, blah, blah. But I still I hate it.
Sure. I hear you.
But even though I'm quite better at it, I guess, but I still don't like it.
Fair enough.
But I think it's here to stay for a while, unfortunately.
It's probably here to stay forever. And unfortunately, my guess is they use that to cut the fluff and then hopefully start bringing people in for, you know, the people that they like. It's probably a much, you know, it's like sending in your tape to American Idol or some shit like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
How long do you feel like, you know, obviously you can't predict, but like, how long do you feel like, or this strike is going to last?
For the actors, especially, I think it will be a couple months at least.
Yeah, I hear you. I feel like at least 3.
I also know that a lot of the studios have had stuff, built up and they've been building up their library preparing for this.
I got you.
Good friend of mine shot a whole series with well-known people, blah, 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 a while ago. And it was done a while ago.
And they've just been sitting on it.
Yeah, for preparing for this time. So it's going to be, I don't know, dude. I hope it's not going to be too ugly, but shit has to change. And, you know, I'm here for it. I'm going to wait it out till we get what we need.
I hope it isn't, but I feel like it's going to be a long one because trying to reconcile the streaming situation, it's going to come down to, you know, who's going to pay the actors and the studios. Like Netflix is the studio and the streaming service in certain cases, a lot of cases. But when you have like Comedy Central and Dave Chappelle, and then you have Netflix, and okay, well, who pays the actors? That's going to go back and forth. And then the AI situation. It's a lot to hash out, but I'm rooting for you guys. We're all rooting for you guys. So hopefully it won't be too long. So any last minute thoughts? Any, you know, parting words before we close this up? By the way, the lighting's beautiful. You know, I know you were concerned about the lighting. We were supposed to do this earlier. You got to go to a Post Malone performance, which is pretty awesome. He was really worried about the lighting, folks.
First concert in a brand new Times Square TSX comes out of a billboard. It's a permanent stage built into a billboard. Post Malone was the first.
How high up was he?
You know, he's a good 40 feet in the air, I'd say.
Wow.
I'll send you. You want me to send you a video? Can you cut that in?
Yeah, I'll cut it in. Yeah, can you send me the video? I'll cut a little bit of that in for sure, man. Absolutely. That'd be pretty cool. So, yeah, any last minute thoughts? Any parting words?
Man, I'm just, you know, support your actor friends. You know, they're hurting right now. Support your writer friends. Do what you can, post whatever, and hit those picket lines, which I did on last week. I'm going to be doing again.
Nice. The solidarity's got to be kind of nice, you know, going out with your fellow actors and even people who aren't actors and all that, just people that want to picket and support. So, well, I'm doing my part, you know.
You all love to be entertained, right, with television and movies, and we got to be taken care of.
I agree.
We're not these millionaires that you guys all think we are.
I mean, some of you are, but it's very, very, very small percentage.
What, 6%? 6% of the whole. I think it's 6%.
It's actually higher than I expected, to be honest, considering if you're including all the, you know, the extra people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, listen, Brandon, really appreciate it. And we're rooting for you, and hopefully it doesn't last too long.
Right on. Thanks, Deb.
You bet. Peace. So, yeah, that was Brandon Morris. That's pretty much, his point of view. And with that, we're going to jump into our shout-outs. Any shout-outs over there, Laz?
Shout-outs to Adrian, loyal listener. Shout-outs to the cousins, because they're listening. Shout-out to Sparkling Image Car Wash and Fast Oil Change. Even though it was raining, they really cleaned my car. I've been in dire
I think
need
you
of a
shouted
car.
them out before.
Yeah, they really do a good job, and they're very nice.
Okay.
I do tip them. I tip the oil change people. I tip the car wash people too. Remember the time the guy stole the money?
Yeah.
But besides that, they're pretty cool. But they're. I like it. It feels tasteful.
Okay. Tasteful. Okay. All right. So, okay. Tasteful car wash and oil change. There we go. There's an interesting name. Lucas, any shout outs over there?
No.
No? Okay. Matt, any shout outs over there?
No, I do have beef with someone though.
You got some beef? All right. Well, we got some beef coming up, folks. I got some quick shout outs. So I just want to shout out the countries that listened to our show just in the last month. USA, UK, Germany, Japan, Australia, Belgium, Sweden, South Africa, Brazil, Pakistan, France. So really appreciate, all the countries that listened in. What's so funny over there, Laz?
Nothing, bro.
Did I miss something?
I wonder why this week.
This week?
Was it this week or just in general?
No, who've listened over the last this week. Actually, the Lane 22 got a listen in Pakistan, which I found very interesting. Yeah. But the thing is, YouTube, to get metrics on countries in YouTube, it's really, really difficult. But on the streaming side, it's pretty easy for me to pull it up. So, all right, we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back with WTF News. We're going to come back with our newest segment, Whose Coke Is It? We're also going to have quick news. We will have our beef, Laz's Corner Positivity, and we'll be back very shortly. Boom.
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 No, because I just lit the candle I usually light. All right, so we're back, and let's do it.
It's time for...
Wait a minute. What the fuck? It's WTF News. Lucas, go for it.
So this is from Miami New Times. Let's scroll back up to the
Miami
New Times.
All right, let's do it.
Size queens. Men get girth with penile filler injections.
What?
Good God.
Penile filler injection. Oh, for girth? Circumference?
Yeah.
Circumference injections.
Circumference, not length.
Well, yeah, girth.
Circumference.
Yeah. Okay.
So
leave it to Miami.
From what I read, it actually lasts about 4 years, and it does take a couple. Depends on how much you want to get larger, girthier.
Okay.
It can take 3 to 4. Dude, I don't know. Expose my sources.
Expose. Yeah, exactly. We've had this conversation. That's for sure.
So apparently, it's a FDA approved injection, usually used for faces.
It has to be.
So it's approved for faces, but not for the penis.
Yeah, for genitalia.
Okay.
Apparently, it takes 3 to 4, typically 3 to 4 visits where they inject this filler just underneath the dermis, the first layer of skin.
Okay.
And it's just, why?
I mean, good Lord.
I'm not doing it, bro.
And actually, it's close to you guys. It's in Coral Gables.
Wow.
I'm very scared of stuff with my penis, bro.
Well, yeah.
Just don't mess with it. It's
Like,
not a boob job.
Yeah, like.
I mean, well, here's my question, which is not to say you have an answer, which is not to say I'm that curious, but like what happened? Like, I mean, if you get an erection, like how does that work? Like, is it like always stiff, like at all times? Like it's just
sensation.
Yeah, dude.
Well, actually, with the sensation, I'm guessing it doesn't have anything to do with it because I don't really do the tip. It's mostly just the shaft
Okay.
because of the blood flow.
Yeah, but your skin stretches.
I mean, does it not stretch when you get hard?
Yeah, but it's made to do it with whatever you have. I mean, like.
All right. Well, I mean, it's definitely WTF.
Uncomfortable
very
type of
uncomfortable.
conversation. Like,
Very
I feel like my
uncomfortable.
penis is about to fall off right now.
All right. So we this is our brand new segment. Whose Coke is it? And we're all going to kind of guess who we think it is, but how the fuck do they not know whose Coke it is at the White House?
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Is that the one I sent you? That's how you saw it, or you saw it before?
Well, no, bro. I mean, they talked about it for a while. They're like, oh, they found a substance. What is it? Okay, turns out to be blow. Okay, they're investigating it, and now like last week they're like, we don't know who it is, and then they finally officially closed the case, meaning, hey, media, stop talking about it. You're never gonna fucking find out, and that's it.
Yeah, they said no fingerprints or no DNA was on the bag.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's impossible, bro. Unless it got.
You know how many cameras are in the White House?
That's the craziest fucking thing about it.
How secure
What
are
about
they?
a dog? Get a dog to sniff it, and like, all right, who else smells like this?
Look how the insurrection happened. Like, I would never expect no shit like that to happen. Also, but then again, maybe it's not as secure as we think. Like,
I mean, the West Wing. I don't know how many cameras are in the West Wing. Actually, Lucas, research. Lucas. Can you find out if there's cameras, security? How many cameras? There's security cameras in the West Wing. They probably won't tell you how many. There's got to be cameras in the West Wing, like in everything.
You
right?
know what's great? Like, I see Coke bags everywhere.
Well,
not
we're
everywhere.
in Miami.
We're in Miami, so I expected
the beach and the water,
so
like on
it wasn't
the road.
like that big of a deal. But then I found out where it was. But then again, anybody could be in there. I know they have to screen everybody, but like, if I do Coke and I'm going to the White House, I probably have a bag of Coke on me. It's not like.
But here's the thing: like, did they find it like on the floor, which means it fell out of somebody's pocket? Did they find it in a drawer, which means somebody like you know what I'm saying?
Found it on the floor.
I have no idea.
Where was it? Was it in a bathroom?
No, it was like in the area, like by the screening, after the screening area.
After this, so after they already got through,
yeah, after the screening area.
Dropped it.
Because
anyone could have dropped it.
They're like, oh shit, I'm gonna get screened. Let me drop this shit right here. What's
From
that, Lucas?
LifeMint.com, cocaine found in cubbyhole at White House's visitors area.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like in the main.
So then
part
that
of the
answers
White
our
House.
question.
It could be anybody.
Okay,
it could be literally anyone, bro. Like you don't know what anybody's into. Like you could be taking heroin. You could be on mushrooms. They're not screening for that. They're just screening for like knives, guns, shit like that.
Sure.
If they drop Coke, like whatever. You could drop Coke. Like
Lucas, you say Nancy Pelosi? That's fair.
Yeah.
You know, at her age, trying to keep up.
Why is she taking that entrance? That makes no sense.
Hey, you know,
and it was on a weekend.
Hey,
like
maybe it's been there for a while. What about you, Matt?
Well, mine changed. I was gonna say a random security guard or something that had that was on a bender.
Yeah,
and just showed up to work and didn't think they had anything in their pocket. But now it just makes sense. It was probably like a random visitor that just fell out of their pocket.
I was going to say Stephen Ricchetti, and the reason why is basically he was right now he's the counselor to the president, but he was also the chairman of Biden's 2020 presidential campaign, which means he's probably going to be involved in his campaign now, which means, bro, anybody trying to help Biden get elected, you're going to need all the blow you can fucking get. Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Maybe
that's going to be some
Biden.
work.
Maybe somebody was bringing it for Biden, but Biden wasn't there. Like, nigga, you need to stay awake.
Yeah, exactly. Biden's going to need some blow just to campaign.
Like, you can't even wake up, bro. Like, I got something for you. Damn, you're not here? I told you I was going to be at Camp David this week. What's wrong with you?
Still, though, the fact that they couldn't figure out who's, well, I don't know, man.
There's probably a whole bunch of stuff sketchy. They can't figure it out, bro.
Yeah, but the fact that it was in a cubby hole, I guess that kind of makes a little bit of sense. That's for sure.
It's time for Quick News.
Here we go. So Mary Claire Jelinek and Lolita C. Baldor from AP. Why a single senator is blocking U.S. military promotions and what it means for the Pentagon. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville is waging an unprecedented campaign to try to change Pentagon abortion policy by holding up hundreds of military nominations and promotions, forcing less experienced leaders into top jobs and raising concerns at the Pentagon about military readiness. Senators in both parties, including Republican leader Mitch McConnell, have pushed back on Tuberville's blockade, but Tuberville has dug in. He says he won't drop the holds until majority Democrats allow a vote on the policy. For now, the fight is a stalemate. Democrats say a vote on every nominee could tide the Senate floor for months, and they don't want to give in to Tuberville's demands and encourage similar blockades of nominees in the future. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said that holding up the promotion of military leaders, most of whom have dedicated their lives to promoting and protecting the country, is one of the most abominable and outrageous things I've ever seen in this chamber, witnessed by the fact that no one has ever had the gall to do this before. Tuberville's move has already stalled more than 260 nominations of senior officers and could balloon to 650 by the end of the year. Tuberville has closely aligned himself with former President Donald Trump since he was elected in 2020. No surprise there. Democrats have repeatedly gone to the Senate floor to try to call up the nomination, but Tuberville has objected each time. In addition to hundreds of 1, 2, and 3-star generals and admirals, the holds delay the confirmation of the Pentagon's top leaders who make up the Joint Chiefs Staff, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Already, the U.S. Marine Corps is without a confirmed leader for the first time in a century. So this one senator, because he wants the Pentagon to change his abortion policy, is not letting any military leaders get promoted. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
You know, he's the former head football coach of Auburn
Really?
University. Yeah.
Bro, like the fact that a senator could be, I mean, this is some like Marjorie Taylor Greene shit. The fact that a senator could be so freaking just like self-centered and righteous that he would hold up the generals and the admirals and the officers from getting like a promotion is, including the Joint Chiefs of Staff. How, like, that has got to be the most ridiculous. Even Mitch McConnell's like, bro, what the hell is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm. Is it because I can?
I guess, dude.
But
politics is so annoying.
Politics is so annoying. So my next article, in a very interestingly related event, NBC News. House passes defense bill after GOP adopts abortion and transgender surgery amendments. So they couldn't, like the defense bill, they wouldn't let it get passed. So they freaking pork barreled transgender and abortion stuff into it to get it passed. The amendments would ban the Pentagon. Here we are, Pentagon, abortion in the Pentagon, which is what Tuberville's fighting for. The amendments would ban the Pentagon for paying for or reimbursing abortion-related expenses and transgender surgery and hormone treatments for service members. Transgender hormone treatments, kind of, you know, okay with that. I'm like, listen, if you want to do that, I don't feel like the government should have to pay for that shit. But abortion, stuff like that, I don't know. Like, I just feel like you shouldn't be, I mean, the Pentagon should be able to do whatever the fuck it wants. It's the military, first of all. The House
not whatever it wants.
Well, I mean, when it comes to something like, yes, of course. But when it comes to something like this, like the Pentagon, the military should be able to make up its own rules on how it wants to decide what to do with transgender, with abortion, with gays in the military, like whatever. They should, like, that's just the stance that the government or the Pentagon should be able to do. The House narrowly passed an annual defense policy bill on Friday after Republicans added provisions to bar Pentagon spending on abortions and transgender surgeries, measures that were a non-starter for Democrats. The legislation which will have to be reconciled with the Senate version of the bill, passed in a 219 to 210 vote. 4 Republicans voted against it. 4 Democrats voted with it, which is interesting. So here's the thing. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican from Georgia, who said Thursday night that she would oppose the bill, voted yes on Friday, saying the reason for her change of heart was that Speaker Kevin McCarthy promised her a seat on the conference committee that will hash out the differences between the House and the Senate versions of the bill. So in other words, Marjorie Taylor Greene says, I am not going to vote yes unless you put me on this committee. And that's the committee that's going to argue with the senators. So you have the House that has to pass it. The Senate has to go in and, decide if they want to pass it or make amendments to it. Then the two of them come together. She's like, I am not going to vote yes unless you put me on that committee. That's the type of bullshit. That's the whole reason McCarthy got put in as the majority leader. What was it, Lucas? I think 11 times they had to vote to get him in because they voted no. And finally, he kissed enough ass. He gave enough promises to the other Republicans. Basically sold his soul enough to the Republicans. Finally said, all right, you do this for me, I will vote yes. After like 11 votes, he finally got nominated or finally got put in. So McCarthy also attacked Democrats, saying they should stop using. Go ahead, Lucas. I love the sign, bro.
On the 15th ballot with 216 votes.
15.
Good God.
15 times he had to get voted to get voted in. Talk about a guy they didn't want.
Over 4 days.
Over 4 days.
Yep.
Jesus. So McCarthy also attacked Democrats, saying they should, quote, stop using taxpayer money to do their own wokeism. A military cannot defend themselves if you train them in woke. We don't want Disneyland to train our military, unquote. Come on, man. What a fucking dickhead. All right. AP.
Bunch of grown people acting like children.
Like, seriously. How about you just go in there and vote for what you believe in, instead of this bullshit.
Bro.
I know,
and
bro.
what's in the best interest of the United States as well.
They don't care about that.
It's definitely not holding up
their pockets and their friends.
Yeah,
and their
pockets
people.
and friends. And what can you do for me?
Yep.
Put me on this committee. Vote for me on this. I'll vote for you on that.
Yep.
And this bullshit about holding up the military appointments, the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
That's wild.
Dude, the Marines have no leader right now.
That's wild.
Because there's one fucking dickhead that thinks the Pentagon should change their abortion policy. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm dropping my F-bombs, but this shit's got me heated. All right, AP, New York City drivers.
Heated, guys.
What's that?
Nothing. This shit got me heated.
I'm super heated right now.
Super fucking heated right
AP,
now,
New York drivers will pay extra tolls as part of the effort to reduce congestion. Did you guys hear about this? This is interesting.
That's wild.
New York has received critical federal approval for its first-in-the-nation plan to charge big tolls to drive in the most visited parts of Manhattan, part of an effort to reduce traffic, improve air quality, and raise funds for the city's public transit system. What's that?
That's so annoying.
It's why is that?
Because some people actually have to drive through the tolls, bro. Like,
I hear you.
Cab drivers, regular people.
Dude, New York is going to shit.
Well, here's the thing. The program could begin as soon as spring 2024, bringing New York City into line with places like London, Singapore, and Stockholm, who have implemented similar tolling programs for highly congested business districts. So a lot of cities are already doing it. New York's actually behind the 8 ball on this one.
That's annoying. You know what SunPass does, though, here?
What?
If you pay for a toll more than 30 times, they give you like half off.
I know the bridge here. I don't think, Matt, I don't think you have to live there. I think you can just sign up, pay the $350 and just go use it as much as you want.
Just for the bridge?
I think for the bridge here to get into Bay Harbor Islands.
Okay. Yeah,
I think so.
They gave me back like $38 this month. I didn't even know what it was for because I think mine's renews.
What are you using though? What toll are you using? Or is it
every day, bro? If there's traffic, I take express lanes. I have to go like through the airport. If I'm going to,
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah, so like if I got to take like one more toll for 50 cents to hit that 35, and I get half back, works.
You're gonna be like breaking out your notebook in the middle.
No,
like,
I mean, I didn't even know that they did that. And then,
I didn't either.
And then they just sent me an email, and I'm looking it up, and I'm like, why'd they give me like so much money back? That it make no sense.
They just credit to your account, I guess.
Yeah, just add it to the account.
They're not going to do that in New York.
$40. Almost, yeah.
Under one of several tolling scenarios under consideration, drivers could be charged as much as $23 a day to enter Manhattan south of 60th Street.
$23 a day.
But south of 60th Street? Come on, man. That's the southern tip of Central Park. It's not like you're going to Wall Street. So literally, if you want to go anywhere in New York that means anything, now granted, the MoMA is a little bit north, but if you want to go to any Broadway show, Times Square, Union Station, if you want to go, to Chinatown, if you want to go to, obviously, I would expect Wall Street, but anywhere south of 60th Street, they're going to charge you up to $23. That's a little ridiculous. I thought at least like south of 14th or, maybe when you get to like south of Hudson or something like that. Well, that's insane.
Now Times Square and all those places that you mentioned are going to be congested up the yin-yang.
Well, yeah. Well, not if you got to pay $23.
No, so everywhere else is going to be congested.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, everywhere
else. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could park and take the subway. That's the thing. Like the subway.
I'm on vacation. I'm taking that. I'm going to pay that $23.
The subway, and I mean, once you live there and you figure it out, the subway is actually a pretty amazing way to move about the city. I don't know what it used to. Actually, Lucas, can you look this up?
Lucas.
But let's say you have to use your car for work or something like that.
Lucas, how much is a monthly pass for the MTA in New York? Let's say what, Les?
Let's say you have to use your car to go to work, so you're paying $46 a day before you.
Well, I think it's $23 to enter. I don't think you pay to go in and go out.
Okay, even then.
But you still got to pay the bridge, Lincoln Tunnel, George Washington, Verrazano.
But you need to actually use your vehicle for work. Like, let's say you're a plumber or you work.
Well, here you go. The plan has been sharply opposed by officials in New Jersey, where people bound for Manhattan by car could see costs of commuting skyrocket. Taxi and other service drivers have also objected, saying it would make fares unaffordable. Some MTA proposals have included caps on tolls for taxis and other for hire vehicles.
That's dumb.
That's what I was looking up, Laz, was the average price for an Uber in New York City.
Oh, it's somebody I know is there right now. They're talking about they paid like $60 for a short ride on an Uber last night, which is ridiculous.
On average, $34.74 for a 6.2 mile ride.
That's wild.
Wait, for 6.2 miles? That's cheap. Yeah.
No, it's not cheap.
For in New York to go 6.2 miles, that's far, bro. That's like going from like Wall Street up to like 60th Street. That's pretty far. I'm just saying. In a taxi, that would cost you like $50.
The 30-day unlimited ride Metro would increase from 127 to 132.
Okay, that's not terrible.
But the good thing
as much
is
as you want.
Senior citizen, disabled, student reduced fare, and paratransit zero fare would remain unchanged.
What about
so that's
beautiful
good.
black guys?
Beautiful black guys? I don't know.
Do you know one?
Yeah, I was going to say. Oh, it's you? Oh, damn.
What time does the subway close?
It doesn't. Certain trains stop running at a certain time. Depends on what train and where it goes. But the subway pretty much runs, nonstop. They'll just be less frequent, like maybe every 30 minutes or every 60 minutes, depending, as opposed to like during rush hour, the 3, the 6, the 9 might be like every 5-10 minutes or something like that. So, all right, that being the case, it is time for
What? You got beef?
So Matt, you've said you've had beef like several times today.
He got real beef.
Yeah, he can't wait to get it out. So Matt, yeah, right. What's your beef, Matt?
The Portland Trailblazers.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Beef. The Heat offered the Portland Trailblazers, Lucas.
Basketball.
So the Heat offered Tyler Hero and 3 first-round picks for Lillard. Lillard's made it clear he doesn't want to play anywhere else but Miami. And 3 first-rounders? Yes, so four people in total.
Wow.
And they're just hard no. They think it's a terrible offer. And, I think it's part of the negotiations. But it's like, how much more do you want for one guy that's 32 years old?
And 3 first round. I mean, what's the record in first rounders for a pick?
I think it was Rudy Gobert 2 years ago.
And how many did they get for him?
I think they got 4 and 2 players.
Okay.
which was a terrible trade, but that doesn't mean that that's the new, standard, in my opinion.
Sure. Wow.
I just want Lillard on the Heat. That's all.
He wants to be on the Heat.
Yeah.
I mean, if Lillard goes in the Heat, I mean, that could like really push you guys like over the top. Of course, he wants to come down here. You guys made it to the finals. Who wouldn't want to play with buckets as well as he's been playing? Plus, no state income tax. That's a lot of money in his pocket. Damn, that's some valid beef, man. I'm with you on that.
I know Seth still has some beef with the Sixers for dropping Jimmy buckets.
I know, especially since we're probably going to be getting rid of Harris. Anyways. Whatever, bitch.
I just saw something about Embiid
It wasn't going to
leaving.
do anything anyways.
Embiid's not leaving, Lucas. Glad you left it at that. All right, Laz, you got some beef? Or no, you're going to save it. Lucas, you have some beef?
Yeah, it's with work.
You got beef?
Okay.
Of course. Because that's pretty much what I do is I work and I come and do this.
Yeah. And he still has no time to watch a 45-minute interview for the show. Just saying.
Yeah.
What?
I'm sorry, but I was kind of late for this show because I was coming from work.
Yeah, it's all right.
Life is
they changed. Yeah, thanks. Love you too. No, this last week they completely I'm the only shipper, which you guys know. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, so leave me alone.
And I'm certified in lithium battery.
I can move anything in the warehouse.
Just ask anybody, and I train the vice president and $500,000 pallets out the wazoo and eat it. Go ahead.
They changed how we process these international orders without even letting me know.
Okay.
To the point where,
wow.
Shit.
No.
Well, that's crazy.
Like it's like they ask questions, which you guys know.
I hate that he didn't even know I was being sarcastic.
I know, right? That's okay.
Yeah, well, no,
Love you.
no, I'm used to you being sarcastic and love you too. But no, it's gotten to the point where I could at least have a turnaround time of a day or two to get my paperwork filed and approved.
Sure.
I have stuff that's still sitting on my dock from last month because of this.
Can't be. Oh, it can't be, Lucas.
They also moved me. I got kicked out of my office.
Wait, so do you have an office? No office?
I had an office.
So now what?
Because I'm up in front of the room next to the fucking bathroom.
Now that's a reason to have beef.
You got beef?
Wow.
Like it's close enough to the bathroom
someone takes
that
a dump, dude. It just comes wafting by.
As soon as they open the door,
dude.
Wow.
Dude, as soon as I saw him, I'm close to the cleaning guys. As soon as I saw him today, I was like, dude, please at the desk next to the bathroom, drop off one of the bathroom spritzer things because he knows how bad it could get in there.
Who did they put in your office?
I just moved out.
Destiny's boyfriend?
Yeah.
You're not
two
allowed
guys
to talk
moved in.
about that. You're such a dick, dude. I hate you.
No. It's a large office. Two guys moved in, that I've worked with before in previous years.
Sure.
No problem there. It's just now they want everything in one area.
They know how to do with like hazard waste and stuff and hazardous items.
Hazard waste right next to Lucas's new office.
Lucas hasn't been certified in that yet, so he had to get out of the office.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Lucas.
Well, I had to get certified to deal with your personality. So
yeah, that's true.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was like a three-year studies on that.
Have I been mean to Lucas? That's
no,
crazy.
Not really. I know. All right. Well, I got a quick beef. All right, go ahead, Lucas. Go ahead.
I was going to say it was just a little bit too easy to make that line.
For sure. I just had beef on the fucking dickheads at the Surfside freaking community center that wouldn't let us swim, bro. So Matt's like, son has 2-year-old birthday, and we get there, and it is sunshine. It is hot. Everybody's ready to swim. And because there was like lightning and thunder like 6 miles away, they wouldn't let us in. And like it was sunshine and like a beautiful day for the whole hour and a half that we were supposed to be there. Maybe like the last 15 minutes it got cloudy, and they would not let us freaking swim.
Yep.
All these kids, Alicia had her bathing suit, like everybody's ready to swim, and they wouldn't let us in. That's some bullshit.
And it was like the perfect kiddie pool where like the parents didn't even have to get in.
Yeah, and like slide, like water slide, everything.
Yep.
They do that though.
Yeah.
That's crap.
They're scared shitless of
No, like literally, even like at Amazon when it was like thunderstorms and lightning was close, they'd close the yard. Or even like at the hotels, they close, like they won't open the pool because they don't want anybody to get hurt.
I get it. I get it. But it was sunshine.
I know.
Sunshine.
Yep.
But they prefer that.
And they wouldn't even let us.
They prefer to make everybody sad and mad.
I even wanted to walk out there just to look at the pool. Like, oh, you can't even be near the pool.
Literally.
I'm like, really, bro? Can I just look at the damn pool?
No.
Yeah.
This isn't the fucking Mona Lisa.
So lightning can travel 10 to 12 miles from a thunderstorm. Just putting that out there.
Lucas, nobody likes your attitude.
No, it's not that. They prefer to make sure you're safe than like you suing later. Because like, you know,
I get it,
you're not
I
a
get
Karen,
it.
but that Karen might come there. They shouldn't have let us swim in the first place.
That's true.
That's what's gonna happen. And then
That's
like
true.
they're gonna sue the place for $1 million.
And it's owned by the city. So
yeah, like they're not trying to lose any money. Like, yeah, they're fucking dicks, but whatever.
It's true.
Yep.
So I got beef with that.
The
just
rules
saying.
are rules, bro.
That's some good beef.
It is some good beef. All right, Laz. We're going to wrap this show up with Laz's Corner Positivity.
77 high school students gifted $100 for shopping spree at Aventura Mall as they prepare for college.
Okay,
So,
nice.
They
School supplies, I assume?
no, like for college. So learning how to get clothes for like dressing for success, just to be normal, switch up for pants, clothes like that. Shopping spree is at the Achieves Miami mission to empower young people and help them reach their goals. During this event called Best Look Ever, professional stylists help students from the Title I schools across Miami-Dade County pick outfits.
You said, did you say Aventura Mall?
Yeah, this
Bro,
this,
they're going to get like one
that's my
sock.
I was gonna say,
I'm happy for the whole thing, but that's my beef. How you gonna give them only $100 to go shop at the mall at
Bro.
Aventura Mall?
Yeah, seriously.
You can't buy anything at Aventura Mall
I mean,
for $100.
not much. If you have a Macy's card, you might be able to like, you know.
Nah, bro, you can't even.
But then
like,
it's slim pickings.
there's nothing. Like you can't. Like I don't even go to that mall anymore.
For clothing, 100%.
I go to I'll go to Sawgrass.
I'll go there.
Sawgrass.
I'm telling you, I'll go there because the Macy's, bro. If you have a Macy's card,
Oh yeah,
you can get some
if
crazy
you go to Macy's, they have a
deals.
lot of deals. Like if you
They
hit
do.
the sales or like clearance rack or whenever they have like a Wednesday sale, whatever, they have a lot of stuff like you can get.
And
but
legit, almost everything is like 25% off if you have your
yeah,
card. It's
plus,
insane.
Plus an extra whatever. But the thing is, how are you going to buy a whole outfit to be dressed for success?
Not for $100.
Not for $100. Impossible.
No.
And then I had
You
another
get
positive.
a tie.
A tie.
They have another
Not
positive.
even.
Damn.
So Miami Beach started a program
Positivity.
to help address homelessness in Miami Beach. So they started a homeless outreach program where park rangers, sanitation, code compliance, and other staff go out together and address like the complex issue of homelessness. We've all been on the beach. We all work on the beach. So you know like there's a lot of homeless people. So what they're doing is basically trying to go to each person and find out what they need or provide like a shelter or services for them. This actually was
That's
like
cool.
today. So I saw it because I follow City of Miami Beach government. So they're actually putting money into doing that.
Where it's bad in Miami Beach is by Burgers and Shakes. Like that's
That area
loaded
is bad as well.
It's loaded with homeless people. But I have seen cops. I eat usually at that little Cuban spot, Sazon. And I know that the cops in that area are part of that like homeless outreach. This was even before the city, I guess, released it.
Okay.
And I know that they've been actively trying to help the homeless people, especially in that area.
How many of these homeless people are people that can't get a job or just don't want to work? Because I just feel like give them a job would be the easiest way to help these people.
Sometimes, but like it was one night. And like after I get off work or before work, I can't even give $1 or nothing. Because once I go to work, like on a day like today where I'm gonna be drinking and doing whatever dumb shit, somebody asked me for $1 or $2, I don't care. But it was like 12:30 or 1 o'clock at night when I was going to get food, like on Washington, it was like a young girl was like, yo, I just need $2 to get something to eat. Like really young, maybe like 14.
Damn.
Like,
Wow.
Late at night, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, this is like my daughter's age. You feel me? Like that shouldn't happen. So like,
does she really need the $2 to get something to eat?
Bro? She's young though. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna be the person.
I'm not saying don't give it to her, but I'm thinking, that could. Some of these people just could be a hustle.
If it's a hustle, fine, fuck it. More power to her. Like, you know what I mean? Like off of on 62nd Street, I was dropping my dad to go pick up a car that just got painted, like for one of the cabs, and it was a whole family, like a young, like a kid that was like 4. The mom and the dad like had a sign that said this and that. Like, there's some people that you can tell, like, yeah, they're not the best person, or not like maybe they're struggling with an addiction or something. Yeah. But then you see the people that are just like, what are you gonna do when you see a family that needs something, bro? Like you're not gonna bring your kid out in the corner to ask for money. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true.
I'll always buy them like food. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot, and back to what I'm saying, like sometimes I've spoken to some of the police officers in that area, and they literally tell you, hey, buy them food, buy them whatever. Do not give them money, because they're just gonna go buy drugs with it. Okay. A lot of these people are suffering from addiction. You know what I'm saying? Especially being on that
whatever it is. Yeah.
Exactly, whatever it might be. But I usually do like to, if someone comes up to me and they're like, hey, can you spare $1 if I'm outside of Walgreens?
Yeah, but didn't you give some guy a bunch of quarters? Remember that story?
Yes. So at my old job, I was in downtown Miami, and I saw a homeless guy, and I constantly saw him in the area every day. I worked there every day. So I'm leaving work, and I have like a jar of quarters.
How long ago was this?
This was probably like 5-6 years ago.
Sure.
Okay.
And I have, bro, it was probably like $20 worth of quarters. It was only quarters, and it was like stacked up. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. I feel like I feel in a giving mood. I always see this guy around. I feel bad. I just saw him digging through a trash can. So I literally he comes over to my car, and I grab the jar of quarters, pour it in his hand. He literally looks at it in his hand, looks back at me, and dumps it in my lap. All the coins. And literally walks away, and I was like, "What?"
I would have took those 20.
Crazy, bro.
I was just like, whatever. And after that day is when I was like,
you ruined it for all the homeless people.
To me, I just don't feel like I don't feel like giving them money is going to help them.
You're not obligated to give them any money.
Absolutely.
And it's probably not going to help them. It might make it worse.
That's exactly my point. If they want money, I'd say, I'm not going to give you money, but I'll buy you food. Do you want to walk right there to the McDonald's or whatever it might be? I'll get you a whole meal. You get what I'm saying? I'll get you 2 meals.
I'm saying I just feel like getting them a job would be the best.
Who's going to hire? Are you hiring?
You know who I do take care of a lot? Like if you get off on the exit, you see like the little old people selling flowers, like those hustlers.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are like, hey, if the flowers are $5, hey, here's 20. Just give me, no change. I'll just take up, flowers.
Or like the waters.
I have no one to buy flowers for now, but I used to. Just saying.
I'll buy you flowers.
No, but I used to buy flowers a lot. All right. Well, I guess that's pretty much all we got. Pretty good show. Had a lot that we covered. And any last minute thoughts before we wrap this up? No? All right. No. Well, this is Seth in camera 1. We got Laz in mic 2. Lucas is actually here in mic 3.
Hey.
And we got Matt in mic 4. So we'll see you guys next week. Boom.
Boom.